Guys, what's up? This is Blaze the Movie Fan, and it's time for another commentary. This time I will be commenting on MasterTP10's latest commentary. Now let me assure you that I am not making this commentary because it happens to be on a commentary of someone I like. I mean, hell, I think MasterTP10's commentaries on Tamashii's video on overrated Pokemon and Mega Evolutions are fucking awesome. Because those two videos were very bad videos by Tamashii. But my problem with this particular commentary is the fact that Tamashii's video on Pikachu clones isn't even a bad video. So anyway, without further ado, let's begin.
I seem to have an addiction to bad Pokemon countdowns, and I think I'll need to see a therapist someday.
Yeah, your therapist just called and told me to tell you that your problem isn't obsession with bad Pokemon countdowns. Your problem is your obsession with fucking Tamashii.
And in every generation of Pokemon games, Game Freak has tried to capitalize on this by introducing a Pikachu clone to try to sell the new games.
When has a Pikachu clone ever been used to try and promote a new generation? Or at least enough to be considered an actual influence on why the generation got anywhere?
Well, in the Pokemon anime, at least one of the protagonists has a Pikachu clone, with an exception of Flurzel and Minion. And the Pokemon anime is used to promote the games. That's probably what's in man.
So how well does each Pikachu lookalike represent its game? Today we're gonna rank all 5 of the Pikachu spawn and find out. But first, a little background on Pikachu.
This is filler. That's all this part is. This adds nothing in regards to what comes later. Even if it's just fun trivia, it wouldn't be nearly as egregious if you connected this to something else in the video other than, "Hey you, Pikachu!"
This is nitpicking, plain and simple. Not everybody is a fucking expert on Pokemon like you or MasterTP10. You have to keep in mind that Tamashii gets thousands of views on her videos. And there is a high chance that someone who isn't too familiar with Pokemon can stumble across her videos. I mean, hell, I'm a huge Pokemon fan myself, and even I found that information to be very useful.
Number 5. Pachirisu. Generation 4 brought a lot of huge innovations to the series. With the physical special split, battling got a lot more balanced and diverse. And with the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, Pokemon can now be traded around the world. There's a decent amount there to work with that's really unique to Diamond and Pearl, so certainly they could come up with something interesting for its mascot to really represent all these features, right?
Okay, I just have to stop you right there. Have you not read the definition of mascot? A person, animal, or object uses a symbol to represent a group, such as a sports team, and to bring good luck. That's how Merriam-Webster defines it. And with this in mind, how is Pachirisu a mascot? Pikachu, yes. Even without the clones, it's one of the most iconic Pokemon out there. And, well, it's called a Pika clone for a reason. Pachirisu? Hell, pretty much every other Pika clone too. No, none are symbols or represent anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree that Tamashii does abuse the word mascot in this video. But here's the thing, that's the only problem that I have with Tamashii's video. And yes, she did use the word incorrectly. But I do see where she's coming from though. I think she should just refer to them as Pika clones, since that's obviously the more correct term. If she used the term Pika clone instead of mascot, there wouldn't be any problem with her video.
Also, why does Pachirisu fail as a Pika clone when it's objectively one of the better ones, as evidenced by the footage of it winning the World Championship in 2014?
Just because someone manages to use a bad Pokemon to beat a big tournament doesn't mean it's not a bad Pokemon anymore. It just means that someone is able to use a bad Pokemon right.
You're arbitrarily throwing it under the bus because it doesn't have a gimmick.
Yes, she is, and she has a damn good reason too. And I'm sorry to say, but I actually agree with her. I also think that Pachirisu is the most forgettable Pikachu clone.
I guess if you really want to stretch it, Emolga's name in Japanese is Emanga, and Emon translates into garment or drape, which is a reference to the flaps on its arms, but it could also possibly reference the costumes your Pokemon get to wear in musicals, which are one of the worst parts of Generation 5.
Still something Gen 5 had, thus having something to follow your bullshit criteria.
Except she never said it absolutely is something that Emolga represents. She said that it's one of the possibilities.
I think probably the biggest core mechanic it brought to the table though was Pokemon gender and breeding, so it's fitting that the mascot of this generation is only obtainable through breeding. Though I'm not much a fan of baby Pokemon, they were a clever way to introduce players to the new mechanic.
Excuse me, introduce? I'm sorry, but I don't care right now if you find Togepi or Togetic disappointing. If any Pokemon introduced the concept to players, it'd be the first egg you got. That's not Pichu, that's Togepi.
Except in the games, Pokemon Gold and Silver, you are given the Togepi directly as an egg. So the only thing that you actually learn about breeding is the fact that you have to walk a lot of fucking steps in order for an egg to hatch. Also, I remember back when Generation 2 was the current generation. And I can tell you that back then, Pichu was the most popular baby Pokemon. I mean, hell, it was more popular than Togepi. Thus, her point still stands.
And the number one Pikachu clones are Plusle and Minun.
Your number 1 are 2 Pokemon, for a grand total of 6 Pikachu clones on the list. Take out Pichu and not include Meryl, and you have a top 5. And if anyone tries to argue to Tamashii's praises for Plusle and Minun could be exactly the same and doing 2 separate segments would be redundant, I point to her top 10 worst gym leaders, where she did one segment covering multiple gym leaders, not once, but twice on that list.
But there is a huge difference between that video and the video that you're commenting on. You see, those gym leaders on the other list have almost nothing in common, so it makes sense to have them as separate entries. With Plusle and Minun, it makes more sense that they are at the same entry, since they are for the most part the same fucking Pokemon with minor differences. And the differences are so minor that it wouldn't make sense if those two were in separate entries.
Generation 3 was a big turning point for the series. We were leaving 8-bit behind, and all that went with it. So we had to really start over with a new world and lots of new features to introduce to people. Aside from moving up to 32-bit, double battles were the big selling point of Ruby and Sapphire. So of course, they required 2 mascots that each knew a double battle specific move and had abilities, another new feature, to help them work together. With Helping Hand and their plus and minus abilities, Plusle and Minun tie everything about Ruby and Sapphire together in one cute package to sell to people.
I'm sorry, but if Plusle and Minun are there to tie up Gen 3 in one package, then Gen 3 must suck. Yes, they're there to promote the concept of double battles, but Gen 3 also had plenty of other duels that could do the concept, and better. For instance, Volbeat and Illumise, Latios and Latias, Solrock and Lunatone.
She never said that Plusle and Minun are great Pokemon to use in double battles. The point she was trying to make is the fact that Plusle and Minun were very popular back in the day. And since I do remember when the 3rd generation was the current generation, I can confirm that it is indeed accurate. Sure, they were never popular when it came to competitive playing, but design-wise, many people did like those 2 Pokemon, myself included. And I still like Plusle even to this day.
Even the colors, Ruby and Sapphire. Unfortunately for a lot of people, it was just too different, with the bright palettes that could support a lot of different colors and the new gimmicks, so these mascots weren't very popular with a lot of people.
Oh, there's far more than just that. Nothing about how they're literally just Pikachu, but with red and blue instead of black? How about the fact that without double battles, they absolutely suck. Their abilities only work when the other's on the field, and without the other, they are weak and they can't do anything. At least the other duels don't need the other member to work in doubles. And that's even implying they'd actually work, since Plusle and Minun are very susceptible to a very powerful and very common double battle move, Earthquake.
Look, MasterTP10, I know that you are very passionate about Pokemon competitive battling, but there is a time and place to talk about stuff like that. And this is not the time to do that. Because Tamashii never said that Plushie and Minun are great Pokemon competitively.
But I do still admire how committed to their concept they were. Game Freak really believed in the game they were making, and celebrated those games full out when designing Plusle and Minun. So to me, they're the epitome of Pokemon mascots.
Even if we just considered Plusle and Minun the best Pika clones, that's all they'd be. Pika clones.
Again, she never said they were great Pokemon competitively, thus making her point irrelevant.
And that's it. This has been Looking Too Deep When the Curtains Are Literally Just Blue, the countdown. You stretched so much to try and find something that these Pokemon seemingly needed to have, when in all actuality, all they needed to be in order to be good Pika clones is, well, to be good.
That's the point of the video. She is trying to look very deep into those Pokemon. I mean, she is analyzing those Pokemon after all. Now it's time for my overall thoughts. This commentary was pretty bad. It seemed to me like you had to prove Tamashii wrong because it's fucking Tamashii. And that's the biggest problem I have with this commentary. Now MasterTP10, keep in mind that I still respect you as a commentator. In fact, you are one of my favorite commentators on YouTube. And out of those that are still active, you are my favorite along with Dirt by Gretton. So anyway people, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching. Have a great